today we are gathered here to celebrate, to remember the Down Syndrome Day, World Down Syndrome Day, and like our parents have shared their experiences, we all know what it is all about, and we are all striving to make it a difference. Blessed Bonding, our group, is an NGO formed to identify, accept, and encourage parents and children who belong to the intellectual disability community. Here we aim to uplift each other in any possible manner. We are fortunate to have very efficient executive members and also very supporting group members and parents. That makes us a beloved group. Our demands are not unreasonable. Our cause is not irrelevant. Our goals are not unachievable. We are simply looking through the eye of humanity, which is sometimes neglected in the busy affairs of the world. We are just reminders that God loved us unconditionally, and we should reflect His greater love to one another. Every parent present here today is a dedicated and committed parent with undisclosed and undeclared struggles. We all have embraced what has been set for us from the beginning, not by choice, but fate and destiny. It is undeniable not to question the ways of God at times. However, He has made everything for a reason, and sometimes the reason is you, the one person you can rely upon. Like the famous quote, "It is better to light a candle than to thirst in darkness." Here we are under the same circumstances. We choose to make a difference. Then to remain silent or ignorance, or to overlook human strength and weakness. We choose the path to uplift each other, then drown in our own imbalanced thoughts of human nature. I, on behalf of Blessed Bonding, we all are blessed enough to observe this day with our enlightened hearts and better understanding of life. And we wish you all parents and members gathered here for a fruitful and rewarding moments in life. Thank you all.
Okay, so what is a Down syndrome? By now, many of you must have already been knowing what is a Down syndrome. It is one of the chromosomal defect disorder. So we as human beings, how does it occur? It is, we as human beings, we are made of different organs. Our body is made up of different organs, and we are made up of different cells. So where does this chromosome contain? Where is it located? We have got cells. In the cells, we have got cytoplasm and nucleus. So inside the nucleus, there are helical structures called DNA. So each structural DNA has got genes. Each segment has got, each segment is called genes. So these genes are the ones which will decide what a person will do physically. Like in a gene, if, for example, the genes come from parents, from mother and the father. As Sister Anna has already told that we have got 23 pairs of chromosomes. So these chromosomes, one side in a pair means there are two, a set of. So one side comes from the mother and the other side comes from the father. So these genes will decide what a person will be like, whether a person is going to be tall, or a person is going to be short, whether a person's eyes is going to be blue or green or brown or black, whether a person is going to be thin or very little fat or lean. So it all decides. We also must have seen in our families, there are some families where all the family members are very tall. Some families, all the family members are quite short. Some families, it is a mixture because our genes are being inherited from our ancestors, and then we get these genes. It is inherited from our families. So these chromosomal disorders, there are different kinds of chromosomal disorders. Among them, one is Down syndrome. So when the chromosome defect is there, during the division, there is cell division. All the living beings have got cells. So this cell division takes place. During the cell division, there is some defect that is happening. Because of that, when the gene, one side comes from the from the mother side and the one side from the father side, during that division, if there is any defect, sometimes the maternal side may not be passed on to the gene to the next cell, or sometimes from the father side. So it is not only one-sided. We cannot blame it is because of the mother. It is because of the father, because there is possibility from both the genes, from both the sides chromosomes. So Down syndrome is a trisomy, as sisters already told, on 21 chromosome. So there are defects caused because of the numerical, the number abnormalities or structure abnormalities. So what I'm talking about this chromosome is, sometimes the chromosome can be broken during the division because of the defect. There can be a part of the chromosome can be broken. There can, after breaking up, there can be inversion of the structure, and there can be loss of some part of chromosome. Because of that, the genetic disorders occurs in the offsprings of human beings. So Down syndrome is a numerical abnormality that causes these symptoms in children. So why do we call it a syndrome? So if we have got a disease, like for example, I've got a malaria. Malaria is caused because of the mosquito bite. And I know that if I take a certain medicines, I'm going to get all right against malaria, and then okay, the disease is over. But syndrome is a group of so many different diseases are happening on the same person. So that's why we call it as a syndrome. So syndrome is not only a single thing that is happening, we have got so many other things included in that. So mostly these kind of syndromes, Down syndrome, occurs in the parents, the mother who gives birth mostly after 40 years of age, 45 years of age. Most prevalent in those. Of course, there are children who are born to younger parents, but mostly the incidence is, if the person is 15 to 29 years old, the incidence is much lesser, 1:1,555. So among 1,055 children, only one child will be of Down syndrome. So their incidence is lesser in the lesser age, but it increases as the mother ages. So like if the mother is 30 to 34 years old, the incidence is 1:800. If 35 to 39 years old, incidence is 1:270. If the mother is 40 to 44 years old, incidence is 1:100. More than 45 years old, 1:50. So as the woman ages, the incidence for the Down syndrome also increases. So the clinical features, how can we make out that the child is having Down syndrome? There are some diseases where we cannot make out until the child has become at least 2-3 years. Like for example, autistic children. They look very normal. They are like any other children. They behave like any other children when they are small. But we come to realize little later, because the symptoms are manifested later, at a later age, like after 2-3 years of age only we come to know that they are behaving in a little different way. But in Down syndrome, from the birth itself, we can make out. Not only birth, from the time of conception, after some weeks of conception itself, we can make out. There are diagnoses that can be made in a Down syndrome, the genetic abnormality cases. So in a child with Down syndrome, what we see is, like they'll have intellect, many of the points such as already mentioned, but I'll be repeating them, some of the points again. Intellectually, they are disabled. They will not be able to learn like many of the normal children. Their mental stage is doesn't mean that they are mad or like that. It's not like that. But they're intellectually, they will not be able to understand up to the level of their age group people. Then they will have physical retardation. As the child grows, they will have a linear growth. But in this Down syndrome children, they will have after a certain age, even if the other peer groups, age group, they are growing, but they will stop growing, and then their height will be retarded. And as they age, instead of growing taller, they will become more bulky, more fat. They will have in the facially, if we see, they will have a flat face. Their nasal, like we have got a nasal bridge, like our nasal bridge is not protruded outside, but theirs will be flat. They will have a smaller nose. Their eyes will be a little more slanted. Of course, we on the Northeast people, the Asians have got their eyes, slanting eyes, but theirs will be a little more slanting. The extra fold, the eyelid is, we call it epicanthal fold. So this epicanthal fold will be a little more extra than the others. They will have a tongue, fissure tongue. Their tongue will be like, fissure means like cracks on their tongues. It will be thicker. When they speak, they will not be able to pronounce or articulate properly as other children. And then their palate, inside their oral cavity, we observe, inside we have got palate. So this will be shorter. Even their head is little smaller, their skull is smaller, and their head, the occipital area will be flat. Also, some children will have some abnormality in their spine. Like we have got a skull and then the spine follows. So in the spine, atlanto-occipital area, soon after the skull bone, we have got spines. So the first, second spines will be a little more protruded. So the children, all the children will not have this. So it's a syndrome. There will be some children will be having this. Their head, they will be having some problem with their because of this protruding of the spinal, this bone. Their spinal cord will be compressed. When the spinal cord is compressed, the nerves are compressed. So when the nerves are compressed, our body, the muscle tone, and so on will be reduced. They may be having a torticollis, or the head is tilted to one side, or they are not able to walk properly like any other children. They are not able to do the physical activities. They don't have that much of strength because of the compression of the spinal cord. Then they will have their ears will be a little smaller, and when they cry, their facial expression of their cry will be a little different, more different than the other normal children. Their hands will be a little shorter, little broad, shorter, and also their leg. It's called the first toe. The first two toes gapping will be more space will be there between the first two. It's called a sandal gap. We wear a sandal with these two holding the strap of the sandal. So this gap will be a little more broader, and then it's usually combined normally, but theirs will be wide open. So these are only the physical features that we see from outside, that we are able to see. So other than the autistic children, when the Down syndrome baby is born, by looking at the features itself, we know, by birth itself, we know that that this child is having some problem. Also, they'll have in the hand, we have got some folds. We call it as a crease. So the Down syndrome children will have simian crease. Simian crease means usually we have a fold of the hand which is broken into two sides. But they'll have same crease, same fold from the beginning till the end. That is called a simian crease. So when the child is born, all these features are present in the child. So you can make out that the child is having Down syndrome. These are not only the problem that the child Down syndrome has. They have got so many other associated problems. And then how we approach this kind of children. They have congenital heart disease. So there are different kinds of congenital heart disease. They will have heart problem. around 40% of the Down syndrome born will have heart problem. So for all these diseases that I'm going to say, early intervention is a must. Routine evaluation has to be done once the child is born.
Hello, my name is Anita Sema, and I am the chairman, Blessed Bonding. And today here we are gathered here to observe World Down Syndrome Day at Angel Home, Dimapur. And our NGO was formed to support the intellectual disabled children, which many of us are not familiar, and therefore we have created this group to support one another, family members, and new participants every day. And we are looking forward to support our children in every way possible.
Acha to like itu NGO can run krole to easy no na. So what challenges have you faced?
Since we're all voluntary workers, we need support from the government and also from stakeholders from different departments and groups, NGOs, and we try to keep in touch with everyone possible.
So like how do you support individuals with disability?
First of all the members, we have a common problem, that is to have an acceptance in the society, which we have different ideas about our children. So we want to generalize about their conditions first.
And then like what are some of the misconceptions about individuals with disability?
It is a very narrow. It is a very narrow conception from some point of view from others, but we want to make it sure that it's not the unacceptable things in the society. It is something which has to be accepted and to be supported in the society.
So like how can society and individual become more inclusive?
First of all, there should be more seminars and materials on these issues, because we have to educate the masses first, then only the later stage will come.
So lastly, on this World Syndrome Day, what message would you like to convey?
My message to our people is unconditional love. We should give our children, despite of their strengths and weaknesses, we should accept what they are as how they are, and we should give our best in whatever ways possible. Thank you.
To viewers kan apne amba visuals te dikhai shina 21st of March to hotai sal idu World Syndrome Day kuina celebrate kure itu laka related te aji Angels Home or Blessing Bonding khan bra mili kina takan idu Angel Home Day World Syndrome Day organize kurishe aro idu program de kota kura homoy speaker ba ami anki janai dishe ki idu syndrome bimar do takan idu naturally bacha takam deba naturally occur kure aro idu ki karne olai gushuli to normally ami khan laka human beings te 46 chromosome take holibi takan ki idu extra chromosome takawa takan idu syndrome bimar do olai kuina ami anki janai dishe idu karne speaker ba parents kan ki encourage kurishe ki in case abdila bacha to inaka disability nolibi inaka bimar kan ase gushuli to discourage noi gina tahan ke phalbra sawale aro tahan laga itu abilities now libi tahan skills kan appreciate kurule parents kan ke taiwa encourage kuri dishe to itu program na body details iman taki ase aro in the news aro update jani deglu site gibi NLTV moi is reporter Molongpom with my video journalist Panangsna.
Nagaland TV, Sop Manulaga Awas. Watch us live on Geo TV and on your television sets as well. For Dimapur viewers, we are on channel number 994 in Global Chapter, and Kohima and Mokokchung viewers, switch to channel number 138 on Hornbill Digital. For all news and updates, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and Twitter.